desperate souls wonder which mistakes led to their total abandonment. A falling warrior feels utterly forsaken by his god. The helpless are crushed like ants beneath heavy heels. A goddess proclaims that pathetic sinners deserve no mercy. A lone hand reaches toward the dark sky in absolute desperation. The fallen warrior refuses to let gods dictate his fate. A mysterious voice calls out to him from the mist. A harsh strike jars the young man back into reality. A man awakens in a fury and shouts at his companion. Zhongting explains that breakfast will vanish if he lingers. The exhausted worker grumbles about needing to sleep much longer. The intimidated man retreats and agrees to get up immediately. A desolate city landscape remains trapped behind cold and rusted fences. Beyond those gates, weary laborers gather to receive meager daily rations. While eating together, one man notices that many people have vanished. His friend suggests they may have angered their divine god. While eating, a man discusses the vital need for divine atonement. His companion questions if such penance truly yields good results. He asks if his companion also desires to leave here. They acknowledge that every living soul deeply yearns for freedom. Zhongting remains silent while reflecting on their grim, oppressive world. His companion stands up and warns him about impending punishment. The man asks if Zhongting will rescue his sister. Zhongting looks away while contemplating a chance to escape. Zhongting sighs and contemplates escaping only if the eye closes. A cruel whip cracks while guards demand the laborers hurry. The exhausted workers struggle while carrying massive and heavy beams. The ancient eye of chaos threatens to swallow their city. The world faces a devastating crisis and nears its total extinction. Then, a radiant god arrives to save and bless all humanity. Those branded as culprits wear heavy collars for their sins. A mysterious voice identifies the captured prisoner as Yingtian. Yingtian turns around in surprise as a stern guard approaches. The guard strikes him with a baton, sending him falling. He cries out in agony while clutching his metal collar. The guard asks how a sinner dares leave this city. Guards surround Yingtian and order his arrest for his thoughts. He struggles while questioning the morality of simply wanting freedom. A guard delivers a brutal kick to silence his dissent. The soldiers shout insults while leaving the battered man behind. People in collars listen as an insult echoes through the air. A soldier calls out to his superior regarding a crisis. He whispers urgent news that leaves the officer completely stunned. The officer expresses shock upon hearing about the worsening crisis. The officer orders the prisoner to be thrown into solitary confinement. A submissive collaborator agrees to obey every single order given. Zhongting greets the officer after the prisoner is gone. The officer promises to protect Zhongting's sister for cooperating. Zhongting thanks the officer while secretly apologizing to his friend. Guards toss the helpless prisoner into a dark, stone cell. The captors mock him for desiring freedom despite his sins. A faint sliver of light illuminates the bruised, fallen man. The prisoner stares into the darkness while reflecting on his fate. He weeps silently as the heavy weight of isolation settles. He wonders if desiring a life of freedom is wrong. The lonely man asks if his existence is truly unforgivable. A falling young man hears a gentle voice correcting his thoughts. He opens his eyes and wonders who is speaking. A radiant hand reaches out to finally greet him. He feels a familiar warmth while wondering who has arrived. An ethereal old man reveals he is the boy's long-lost grandfather. The confused youth insists his grandfather passed away long ago. The spirit expresses deep pity for his suffering young descendant. The prisoner awakens in his dark cell feeling completely overwhelmed. The young man awakens and stares in shock at the vision. A holy line of golden gods appears before his eyes. He stammers while trying to comprehend their majestic divine presence. The radiant spirits reveal that they are indeed true gods. A golden dragon looms behind a group of majestic divine beings. Yingtian stares in utter shock while questioning the divine presence. The very fabric of reality begins to crack and shatter. He looks around in confusion as his surroundings completely shift. A dark rift opens while divine beings note his arrival. Yingtian sees something strange and asks about its mysterious identity. A dark and bizarre energy begins to consume his form. He realizes his body is now frozen and completely motionless. He stares in terror and wonders if death is near. A radiant golden light suddenly surrounds Yingtian as he shouts. He sits paralyzed while asking his grandfather about the situation. A dark rift known as the Eye of Chaos appears. tears. His grandfather explains that he represents their very last hope. The mysterious grandfather figure instructs the young man to wake up. The young man snaps his eyes open in the darkness. He clutches his throbbing head while feeling an immense weight. He wonders if the vivid vision was merely a dream. The prisoner kneels silently within a dark and cold stone cell. The heavy cell door mysteriously creaks open by itself. He cautiously reaches out to push the door open wider. A horrifying monstrous being suddenly looms over the terrified man. A piercing scream erupts as the terrified prisoner falls backward suddenly. He stammers while pointing at a gruesome and shriveled body. He wonders how the sturdy guard became a hollow corpse. He wanders the dark halls worrying about Zhongting's safety. A dark and ominous sky looms over the city's rusted fences. The young man stares ahead in complete and utter disbelief. He realizes the Eye of Chaos has transformed the population. He stands alone as the monsters let out terrifying roars. A giant goddess notices a lone survivor at the pit's bottom. The young man stares upward while tears fill his eyes. The goddess asks the weeping sinner about his many tears. He looks up in total confusion at the divine being. A majestic golden goddess stands before the desperate and terrified prisoner. The young man begs her for salvation and another chance. The divine figure finds his heartfelt plea to be interesting. She declares him insignificant and refuses to grant him mercy. Ying Tian feels a sudden and intense spark of internal fury. The divine being declares that death is his inevitable fate. He bows his head while reflecting on his grim destiny. The dejected man questions if his existence is truly unforgivable. A spirit insists the young man remains their last righteous hope. The youth stares ahead with a look of fierce determination. He kneels and questions if she is the true deity. He wonders if they truly caused the world's current destruction. The young man intensely questions the true nature of guilt. His clenched hand reveals a growing and dark inner resolve. The giant goddess lifts him by the throat with ease. She sternly asks if the sinner is rebelling against her. The goddess claims that his inherent sinful nature cannot be changed. The man laments that they never received a fair chance. He realizes that the gods view them as mere ants. The silent goddess stares down with cold and distant indifference. The man questions his faith while being strangled by the goddess. The goddess delivers a swift strike with holy golden energy. She slams him into the ground with immense divine force. She mocks the foolishness of making an enemy of God. The man recalls Zhongting's constant warnings amid the swirling dust. He steps past his broken collar while rejecting false faith. He kneels in ruins, furious that his friend was abandoned. He decries divine kindness as a lie and accepts darkness. The white-haired youth screams as his forbidden sinful bloodline suddenly awakens. A massive surge of power forces the goddess to retreat. She smiles upon witnessing the young man's newly awakened abilities. The warrior stands defiant amid the swirling and destructive debris. The white-haired warrior declares his intent to slay the mighty goddess. The divine being laughs at the thought of his rebellion. She dismisses him as nothing more than a tiny ant. The warrior lunges forward with a sudden and blinding speed. The white-haired warrior stares in total amazement at her incredible speed. He launches a blindingly fast strike against the golden goddess. A powerful and destructive shockwave ripples through the shattered ground. The divine being lands gracefully amidst a rising dust cloud. The goddess commands her fallen opponent to rise and fight back. The massive impact causes the rocky ground to crack deeply. A powerful explosion erupts from beneath the shattered stone surface. The divine warrior stands calmly amidst the surrounding city ruins. The golden goddess recoils as she prepares for the warrior's fury. The furious warrior curses her while charging his glowing fist. He dives toward the goddess to deliver a powerful blow. A blinding explosion of white light consumes the entire battlefield. A blinding golden light erupts across the battlefield during their fight. The goddess effortlessly catches the warrior's fist mid-air with ease. The young man stares in utter disbelief at her power. The goddess declares that ants will always remain mere ants. The goddess tightly grips the warrior's wrist with an iron strength. She brutally crushes his arm with her immense divine power. The warrior screams in agony while being held completely helpless. The goddess mocks the ant who dared dream of killing. The fallen warrior admits his weakness while clutching the rough ground. The goddess labels him as a mere ant and sinner. His eyes glow with a fierce refusal to ever yield. The goddess smiles while coldly demanding his absolute total surrender. The goddess dismisses his fierce resistance as a futile death struggle. struggle. The young warrior charges forward with a desperate, powerful shout. She brutally impales him, causing blood to splatter everywhere. He stares in shock as blood pours over his hands. The goddess declares that death awaits any mortal who fights her. She tosses the bleeding warrior over the jagged cliff edge. The dying man falls while dark energy coils around him. The defeated youth laments his failure while descending into darkness. The dying man accepts his fate as his vision slowly fades. He finds peace knowing that his long struggle is over. Violent purple lightning crackles through the heavy and dark rain. The storm rages over the cold and jagged stone cliffs. A small animal barks loudly near a body in a ravine. A mysterious figure steps toward the person lying in rain. A muscular man looms over the fallen and broken foe. The sinister stranger smiles broadly while contemplating his dark victory. Ying Tian hears voices calling his name as he stands solemnly. He wanders into a misty void and questions his location. He turns around in confusion while searching for Zhang Ting. A horrifying ghoul suddenly reaches out and begs for salvation. A young man screams in absolute terror at a dark vision. A monstrous hound with glowing red eyes looms over him. He shrieks loudly as the scene shifts to bright daylight. He awakens as a friendly brown dog licks his face. A wooden spoon suddenly strikes the dog on his fluffy head. The young man tries to comfort his loyal animal friend. A dark figure scolds the pet while brandishing a knife. Both the man and his dog freeze in absolute terror. The eerie woman expresses relief that her patient has finally awakened. The terrified youth questions if she is a hell messenger. A demonic mask reveals the sinister nature of his host. She checks his fever while still holding a sharp cleaver. The young man reacts with surprise to a sudden gentle touch. Then, the girl confirms that his high fever has finally vanished. He blushes intensely while admiring her kind and gentle spirit. The lady wonders why his fever has suddenly returned again. Xiao Yun greets her muscular father as he enters the room. The confused boy wonders if hell messengers have actual fathers. He surveys the attic while wondering if he reached heaven. The smoking man asks the young visitor for his name. The youth introduces himself as a Ying while staying quite alert. He chooses to remain guarded until he assesses the danger. Lai Rong introduces his small family to the curious boy. The man describes finding him injured in a garbage dump. The boy realizes he is actually alive and still on Earth. The girl worries that his high fever damaged his brain. The father sternly asks where the young boy currently lives. The boy hesitates and struggles to provide a clear answer. The young man sadly admits he no longer has a home. Lai Rong stays silent for a moment before offering space. He encourages the tired boy to recover in peace now. The boy expresses gratitude while the family leaves him alone. A Ying reflects on his survival while contemplating his next move. Zhu Yun asks her father why they are harboring him. Lai Rong explains his desire to reclaim all incurred expenses. The man suggests using the boy as free manual labor. A lone scientist works inside a cold and high-tech research facility. He examines a mechanical body while his red eyes glow. Someone rushes through the base to deliver an urgent message. A worker informs Dr. Zhu that the guards found news. Dr. Zhu asks for a location while donning his medical gloves. His assistant reports on the search and an esteemed visitor. The doctor confirms he is aware of the urgent request. He removes his mask and plans to visit him later. A dark room is filled with creepy dolls having glowing eyes. A person with purple hair plays a bright video game. A door opens and lets light into the dim chamber. Dr. Zhu enters and asks why he was summoned here. The doctor enters while a mysterious figure plays a video game. The scientist reports on technical failures and massive human losses. The player admits that chaos provides a unique dark pleasure. The screen shows game over after comparing reality to simulation. The scientist asks if the leader wishes to pursue infinite pleasure. The figure orders the survivor's capture as things turn grim. The submissive doctor bows while acknowledging his leader's dark commands. The mysterious leader questions their energy supply and hidden secrets. The doctor observes that humans must pay a price for peace. The injured hero wonders what his next steps will be. He realizes that challenging the goddess would lead to death. Harsh shouts from outside abruptly disturb his deep inner reflections. The young man hears a loud noise and investigates the outside. A terrified pig flees from a girl wielding a knife. The fleeing animal leaps and knocks the young man down. Both the boy and the pig sit dazed together now. Young man and pig cower while an imposing figure looms looms overhead. A terrifying shadow brandishes a large blade with glowing eyes. A sharp and piercing cry echoes throughout the peaceful mountains. The girl greets him cheerfully while preparing to butcher dinner. The startled man recoils while the young woman explains her task. She mentions the honey-glazed pig requested for a birthday banquet. The young man reacts with visible disgust to the meal. She leads him inside to wash away the foul-smelling blood. The wooden sliding door slams shut with a very loud bang. He asks why she follows him to assist with clothing. He feels deeply embarrassed by her blunt and bold offer. She nonchalantly admits that she has previously undressed him before. A Ying removes his blood-stained shirt to reveal a mysterious tattoo. Zhu Yun spots the unique mark and asks its origin. A Ying identifies the symbol as a specific clan emblem. Her father interrupts them while carrying a small dead pig. The protective father bursts inside and misunderstands the intimate-looking scene. He shouts loudly and refuses to allow any such marriage. The father calms down after learning the innocent truth instead. The angry daughter insists the embarrassed boy should not apologize. Zhu Yun insults the boy's weak appearance and mysterious origins bluntly. She turns away while announcing her departure to get busy. A Ying stares silently as the heavy door slams shut. The father exhales smoke while calling out a Ying's name. The young boy reacts with visible surprise to a sudden question. The man stares intensely through a dark, hazy red atmosphere. A Ying reacts with utter shock to a very sudden realization. Lai Rong tells the startled youth to leave immediately. He warns the boy to stay hidden and remain quiet. The young man refuses to live his life in hiding. The grieving boy clenches his fist while mourning his dead clansman. The muscular man delivers a sharp slap across his face. He warns that no mortal can ever defeat their god. He instructs the stunned boy to just live his life. A Ying clenches his fist and slams it against the wall. The young man seethes with a look of fiery determination. Zhu Yun expresses shock at her father's cold, harsh decision. She asks if he truly plans to drive him away. Lai Rong explains how city guards hunt the dangerous young sinner. He insists that they cannot afford to be dragged down. He consoles Zhu Yun with promises of a peaceful future. They wait for their mother to return home in peace. Zhu Yun silently acknowledges her father's lies regarding their mother. She gazes mournfully at the roof while accepting her loss. The dejected youth wonders how he can possibly seek revenge. He calls out to the dog from the open doorway. Zhu Yun approaches the young man and asks about his departure. He admits to having no specific destination for his travels. He explains that the outside world remains a complete mystery. She questions whether he possesses enough money for the journey. The boy displays complete confusion when the girl asks about money. Zhu Yun tells him to follow her into the house. She begins rummaging through a wooden chest with great effort. She explains her plan to obtain funds while he watches. Zhu Yun recalls her mother's birthday to unlock the hidden safe. She justifies the act as honorable to the two onlookers. The exasperated boy feels equated to the family dog. A successful code entry causes the hidden safe to open. The girl asks if the young man understands basic monetary currency. He admits to having never seen actual pork before today. She mocks his total lack of basic worldly life experience. He stares in blank confusion while sweating from her interrogation. A Ying peers curiously into a hidden floor compartment for answers. Zhu Yun reveals these items are her lost mother's belongings. She explains how her father desperately believes her mother lives. The boy offers a sincere apology for his insensitive questions. Zhu Yun displays her mother's ancient notes filled with mysterious symbols. A Ying stares in total shock as he recognizes them. He explains he knows the characters to a surprised girl. The ancient text describes 12 gods hidden within holy Pinglai. A Ying studies the paper and identifies the 12 ancient gods. His eyes widen as a startling realization strikes his mind. He recalls the golden spirits claiming to be true gods. He realizes his vivid vision was actually a true memory. A Ying stares in absolute shock as his eyes widen suddenly. Lai Rong catches the pair and demands a full explanation. The muscular father looms over them with a stern gaze. Zhu Yun panics and desperately tries to explain their actions. Dark energy swirls as the youth declares they are not sinners. The family observes his transformation with a look of shock. His shadowed face reveals a powerful and intense inner fury. The young man erupts in golden energy while denying his guilt. His companions watch in horror as his strange power awakens. He repeats his denial as dark shadows consume his face. A single crazed eye reveals the depth of his struggle. The muscular father strikes the boy to halt his sudden outburst. The impact sends the boy crashing violently through the wall. The father manifests a red aura while protecting his daughter. The girl stares in amazement after discovering her father's power. Lai Rong slams a Ying onto the floor with immense force. The red-haired man maintains a look of focused determination. A glowing red aura surrounds Lai Rong during the struggle. He exerts massive pressure until the weight becomes utterly unbearable. A massive impact suddenly sends heavy debris flying through the air. A vertical pillar of red energy strikes the hard ground. A terrified daughter calls her father while the dog barks. A single foot stomps down hard, creating a powerful shockwave. The red-haired man prepares to strike while scolding the youth. The daughter and her dog watch their father in disbelief. A powerful blow sends the dark-haired boy flying away. The smoker remains calm while his red aura pulses intensely. A Ying throws a powerful punch with incredible speed and force. He dashes forward quickly while leaving a dark, blurred trail. The young fighter's eyes widen in absolute and total shock. The muscular warrior appears behind him with a fiery aura. The red-haired warrior smirks while preparing a very painful strike. A Ying's eye widens in pure shock at the attack. The powerful fighter slams his hand down with great force. A heavy blow lands on the boy's head with finality. The muscular warrior slams the boy's head into the hard ground. A Ying lies defeated within a crater of broken stones. Zhu Yun cheers excitedly for her father's display of power. The proud father poses while his opponent remains completely dazed. A dark and shadowy figure looms behind the smoking, red-haired warrior. The man's eyes widen as he senses a coming attack. The young fighter launches a blindingly fast and powerful strike. The red-haired warrior catches the heavy blow with his hands. The fighter's pupils constrict as he anticipates a devastating incoming blow. The red-haired man launches a massive and incredibly powerful punch. The young defender struggles against the sheer force of impact. Red lightning crackles while the heavy strike sends him flying. A warrior with a red aura lunges forward with intense fury. He slams his opponent against the high stone perimeter wall. A glowing red seal appears while he invokes ancient power. A massive pillar of red energy erupts toward the sky. A boy glows with blue energy, appearing possessed by uncontrollable power. The man holds the slumped youth after the energy fades. The daughter asks why subduing the boy was so difficult. The father notes that the youth currently lacks emotional control. The father decides to keep the mysterious boy in their home. He believes the youth can decipher his missing wife's notes. The man vows to pursue even a faint glimmering hope. He carries the boy while recognizing him as their salvation. Scientists finalize their plan to select subjects for initial testing. A researcher reports that a mysterious guard seized their captive. Upon hearing this, the lead scientist identifies the powerful kidnapper. They learn the prisoner was taken directly to the temple. A wounded prisoner kneels before a dark throne inside the temple. A shadowed figure on the throne commands the captive upward. The captive waits submissively at the base of the staircase. The battered man lifts his eyes with a somber expression. The weary man narrows his bruised eyes while reflecting on capture. He remains kneeling in silence while wearing a heavy collar. A man asks if the goddess intends to end his life. The goddess sitting on her throne offers to save him. The man dejectedly claims that he does not need saving. She shocks him by asking him about his younger sister. The kneeling man asks how she obtained such secret personal information. The mysterious figure prepares to explain her vast divine knowledge. She radiates light while proclaiming her true and absolute divinity. The man stares in awe while acknowledging her god-like status. A desperate man begs for his sister's safety while offering servitude. A shadowed warrior slams his head down, demanding total silence. He remains pinned while the dark figure watches him intensely. The goddess descends while asking if he will do anything. The defeated man looks up and confirms his total submission immediately. The goddess suggests he become her loyal and obedient pet. He hesitates before finally accepting this degrading new role now. The goddess promises to train him into a proper servant. The purple-haired man remains in a posture of total submission. A young girl observes as the unconscious boy finally stirs. She and her dog excitedly welcome him back to life. The bewildered boy wakes up and stares at his rescuers. The young man wakes up and cries out in sudden pain. He feels confused while remembering his mysterious and powerful transformation. The girl hits him and orders him to eat breakfast. He rubs his sore head and wonders about his situation. To begin, a bright morning sun shines over the quiet courtyard. The boy wonders why his appearance changed so drastically yesterday. The girl asks him to help her father carry pork. A blue truck arrives to start the busy workday. The muscular host asks the boy how he feels this morning. He offers a job with shelter, but without any wages. The boy happily agrees to work hard for his keep. He vows to stay and decipher those cryptic secret notes. The man orders the boy to unload the heavy meat cargo. The young man struggles while carrying a whole dead pig. The suspicious father smokes and questions the boy's hidden motives. His daughter mocks his bossy attitude toward their new worker. A man carries a heavy pig as his master plan's payment. An elderly woman arrives and compliments the young girl's beauty. The grandmother mentions rumors of a local junkyard being haunted. The family members react with visible shock to her news. Floating debris and spectral flames terrify those who enter the junkyard. Lai Rong questions why the Divine Guard has not investigated. The grandmother warns the family to avoid being haunted nearby. The young listener reacts with utter shock to these rumors. Lai Rong explains that Ying Tian is a relative helping out. The elderly woman realizes she must tend to her cooking. Lai Rong waves farewell as his guest departs very quickly. Ying Tian contemplates his rescue from the mysterious haunted junkyard. The bright full moon shines down upon the quiet, sleeping town. The young man steps cautiously out into the dark night. He runs swiftly down the narrow and dimly lit alleyway. His sandals click rhythmically against the cold and hard pavement. Lai Rong watches the restless youth depart while smoking a cigarette. A full moon shines over the desolate and silent junkyard. The young man identifies the place where he was found. He wonders if other survivors escaped the distant sinner's land. A green wine bottle suddenly flies through the dark night air. Bright blue energy streaks past the startled young man. A spectral blue flame ignites upon his very own shoulder. Several eerie ghost fires surround him within the dark junkyard. Ying Tian shivers from an unnatural cold while fearing evil spirits. A mysterious figure is annoyed at people disturbing his grandma. The young man shouts while spotting a mysterious dark silhouette. The figure realizes that this intruder is not a sinner. A tall man stands calmly beneath the bright and full moon. He ponders while admitting his own ignorance regarding certain matters. The young intruder stares in absolute and utter bewilderment. A blindingly fast movement creates a massive shockwave across the junkyard. The blue-haired stranger decides to make an example of him. A sudden and brutal strike causes blood to spray everywhere. The wounded warrior stumbles forward while his attacker watches silently. The warrior stares in shock at his opponent's blinding speed. He collapses forward while his attacker stands triumphantly behind him. The stranger attributes the defeat to the boy's poor luck. He walks away while observing that the fight ended quickly. A voice commands the wounded warrior to halt his sudden movements. The attacker looks back with a sense of genuine surprise. He realizes his opponent also possesses powerful hidden supernatural abilities. Bright energy surges as the youth begins to heal instantly. The impact of their battle causes a massive fiery explosion. The two powerful fighters engage in a violent mid-air struggle. The stranger claims he only used half of his strength. The young man grits his teeth and refuses to surrender. The two powerful warriors clash violently against the jagged mountain cliff. The blue-haired fighter moves with a blinding and incredible speed. He unsheathes a glowing energy sword to end this fight. The opponent prepares a defensive stance against the incoming strike. The fighter with blue hair lands upon the cold, cracked floor. He leaps high while unleashing a brilliant and powerful blast. His opponent crosses his arms to block the incoming attack. The energy strike explodes violently against the cold, shattered ground. A Ying dashes forward while counting his strikes against his foe. The stunned stranger reacts with a look of absolute shock. A Ying admits he is using only 40% power. He delivers a powerful kick that sends the stranger flying. A powerful energy blast strikes the blue-haired man with force. He uses his glowing sword to maintain his balance. He clutches his chest while admitting the attack hurt. The stranger admits that he severely underestimated the victor. The blue-haired man criticizes his opponent's poor use of skill. He unleashes a massive wave of ice to claim victory. The white-haired warrior struggles against the freezing Arctic blast. A powerful freezing energy instantly traps everything within jagged ice. The white-haired warrior curses as ice begins to surround him. The blue-haired assailant appears behind him with a blade. He falls backward while a giant ice shard looms. The scene focuses on the mysterious mark on his skin. The blue-haired fighter reacts with a look of genuine surprise. The two powerful warriors clash violently against a stone wall. The stranger slides across the cold and cracked ground. The blue-haired man identifies his opponent as a sinner. The boy denies knowing about sinners to the mysterious blue-haired man. The stranger pulls down his collar to reveal a secret. A close-up shot reveals a sinner's mark on his skin. Ying-chan reacts with utter shock at this sudden discovery. The stranger demands the truth from his defiant young prisoner. An enormous leg descends from above as a voice commands. The boy recognizes his savior while the stranger feels confusion. The blue-haired man stares in absolute terror at him. A muscular man with red hair wields a large butcher knife. A violent red aura erupts and surrounds his powerful frame.